Hi, Pisces. Oh, Pisces, what do we got for you today? That's my cat. Sorry about the noise. Let me pause this. Okay. So, as you can see here, we start out the month trying even desperately to holding on to something that was going to fall apart anyway. Something that you've come to realize and before I didn't put together either that Saturn has its reins on you a lot for a while now, and for a while still. That is the devil. And as this is happening, it's showing you where in your life perhaps you've been doing too much. So it's time to go. Tower moment happens. Revealing to you what you can't control and how much better you feel without that. Right? And then there's a childlike wonder that comes. Haha, the Ace of Swords. Well, there you go. Coming in to clear out the cosmic sword. Clearing out anything that is not in your control at this time. I just dropped 2 cards. Hold on. Page of Pentacles and the Moon. And what are you clearing out? For some of you, it actually could be a person. For some of you, it's a person. For some of you, it's a personality trait that is changing. For those of you that it's a person, this person was never, ever planning on being the person you thought they were. This could be someone who reminded you of your father or a fatherly figure. Sorry, I just cannot get comfortable. But it's during this time that you realize. And you may not give a lot of faith to the moon, some of you, and the cycles that we're going through, but I think by this, especially by the Aries eclipse coming up in just 4 days after I'm doing this, you may have a real look at, okay, what is it about me that accepts this kind of behavior? Because it's not your fault if it's someone else, you know, we learn. But if this is something that you've been learning time and time again, then have you learned, Pisces? Right? Or is this that final moment? Is this that final time? Seeing something within yourself or another that is no longer feasible to the way that you're moving. The Tower moment perhaps comes and then you're able to speak from this place of understanding, or from a place of knowing what you want now or knowing what you need now. You're being revealed to yourself. And it's, you know, I talked to Virgo and I talked to a few people, and codependency has also been one of the themes that have been coming up. Now, if this is somewhere maybe you feel codependent, then perhaps that's why things need to change. Now, in my life, And I was sharing some stories with Aquarius, and I don't know if you could relate, but the more that I have noticed that and how I don't have control over that part of myself, and the more I became aware of it, the more I lost people. The more I didn't have control because I was gaining a different sense of control. I was changing my outlook, changing my relationship dynamics the best that I could with how I learned at the time. Half of the cards, it's so weird. What is going on? What is happening? All right. Okay. That card fell out. I just had to fix my card, sorry. This probably started a couple weeks ago. You know, someone in your life, or the Libra eclipse probably revealed it to you, like where the imbalances in your life, where are they off? Where something could be off. You know, for some of you too, unfortunately, people and parts of ourselves also can hold weight in a way that is actually affecting our physical body. So for a lot of you, you could experience relief from your knees at this time too. Or perhaps you'll feel like cracks in your skeletal system, or just relief. Even in the teeth, if you're getting some work done, whatever that is, you may find some relief there. What this is helping you do though is, and we're really getting into a very intuitive time with the cardinal eclipses in Pisces, Saturn being in Pisces, and then we have Pluto in Aquarius. There's a lot of air and water. And so if this is your 2nd and 8th house axis, yeah, your dental, mental health, and resources. I have to have notes because I'm still memorizing. This is not my full-time job just yet. And then your resources. So for some of you, you may even take a cut in resources because of this. However, having faith and pulling through and still putting in the work is really important, because it's showing you how, again, emotionally stable that you are and how emotions and money are correlated. The more stability that you have in this side of yourself or in people who you trust, it's perhaps the more creative that you become. A few weeks ago, you were revealed something extremely intuitive and so much like yourself. And it's possible that you haven't started on that project or that creative endeavor, or whatever that is that came to mind, or whatever came to mind is now slowly becoming and emerging into an idea of some sort, an actual tangible idea. And it comes from perhaps these conversations or this confidential, right? The confidentiality of it all. I feel like coming into Aries season, the reason why you had to go through this total change is so that you didn't come to burnout. It's like, well, let's burn you out in the beginning of the month. No, that's not what I mean. It's just, let's slow you down. Let's give you a reality check so that you know which direction you want to go in, right? Your ode to yourself could become an offering to the moon in this cycle, and it doesn't have to be some crazy witchy ritual. It's just, this time is a time to plant seeds for many, many years to come. And especially if you're looking to grow a life with someone. In Taurus season, you'll have so much, you'll be able to and have so much abundance in the sense of, this is the person that I can see myself living life. And all of a sudden, again, this is just so that you can become more expansive with your life. Whatever's dropping off now, look at all this forward movement amidst a rebirth. all of the, whatever's leaving or whatever you're clearing out, whatever's being cleared out for you at this time is for your betterment. You may have needed something to level your head out, and this is what that something is. For some reason, it takes a lot of us to lose something, to find out something big, to cause this reaction, this chemical reaction of change. So the emotional and mental and your self-worth and your value and how you receive others' resources may bring you into collaboration. That for the next 20 years or so, because Aquarius is in your 12th house of the subconscious. And as someone who's had the eclipses transit in her house, you're having Pluto transit in this house. So, ergo, the beginning of so much change underneath it all. What can you gain from here, right? What can you learn? What have you learned? What will restructure? What will resurface? And there will be people who come along with you. You may not even know. You're just like, oh shit, they came along for the ride. Which gives you even more confidence, which gives you more value, which puts it into your faith more, into the material and what you're materializing. Because what you've cut off here, even though some people won't be happy about it, you might have to move on without them, you know, or it's like they don't understand where you're going just yet because you've been cleared a path so that you can view many years down the road to an extent that this one situation or person that no longer, or this part of you that can no longer be given so much energy is now changing, and there's this undertone of, okay, something is being done for. And now let's go back to that Devil card and relate it, and even the Knight of Pentacles to this King of Pentacles, that maybe it goes back to a fatherly figure or a very masculine figure, the way that you've learned how to handle money, how that's shown you how to handle romance and your emotions and what that looks like and your dynamic with this person, right? And you may say, well, I didn't have much of a dynamic. Well, then there's your work. Perhaps avoidance. I'm like, Pisces, I'm not, yeah, you can be. Depends on where it is, like what's going on in your chart. Like, the funny thing is that we think we have such generalizations a lot for signs, and I'm here to bring back the nuances in tarot, because we can generalize to an extent, but when you're talking about so much in-depth things, we can't do that. We can't do that. What meeting yourself with yourself in this time, and what your intuition and what you're connecting to, is being able to see in your life what no longer fits. You know, it's very clear that now, because you are attuned to your next level of frequency, or you're tuning to it, you're going to hear things that you once didn't. You may even say things that have been once said to you, but now you hear them with value because you need it. Because whatever you're discovering about putting this idea into action, about moving beyond what has kept you from moving forward. Again, okay, here the Pentacles and the Cups are showing up. Is that you cannot defend what you do not have. What is not yours. And you want something to be yours. As we move into Taurus season, excuse me, you begin to notice that when you do finally hear this, it doesn't feel too great. It almost feels like you see how long you've been in this stasis for. But if you need a trick, remember that you're hearing it now and you're in this place now because it's meant to happen now. Whenever we go down that road, and let yourself feel for sure, but don't let yourself stay there, because what you find is that your ideas have promise, which is why you are and maybe in defense. And notice if you need some time and rest, and Taurus season will give you that time to understand for sure. Or there could be someone in your life who you really feel like is totally disillusioned from themselves. And this is the month where you finally are just like, okay, enough is enough. You know, what do you need to say? What do you need to get off your chest? Because that's the risk that you're taking here. Remember, your emotions and your money. There's a place in which you've been holding back, but then overcompensating in another area. So notice where you may speak, but no one listens, or you may be so apt to speak up for this one area of your life, but not in this other area. So it's time to kind of, that's where the balance is. That's where the flip-flop is. And there could be a Taurus in your life that almost provokes you to speak up. They may be feeling defensive at this time, but it's a risk you have to take for yourself. It's not like you're going to get into a fight. You're just noticing something about them and they don't want you to, but you are. Right? That's a skill you both have. And that if this is the person that you're partnering with romantically or in a business sense, then it's important that you both know that and address that like in the beginning and how to move forward with it in a way that feels good for both of you. By this eclipse, your ego will feel well enough. Again, it's like you've been building it back up at this point. To say or show, right? To act upon what is needed at this time. And in between, you need to find rest. See, interestingly enough, you're one of the signs that understands innately that doing too much physically is never going to be worth it. So doing mentally is also like doing physically. So if you can do there, it would be more beneficial in the long run. You also know how much work that is, right? So you're in that space right now because developing an idea and getting the energy to put something out there takes a lot of mental fortitude. It takes a lot of knowing that you'll need to also rest. And if you're sedentary, so if you stay in one place a lot, like in one position, then I highly suggest that you stretch a little. You're also going to be digesting a lot as you work. Through your work, you're going to recognize some things that you've been needing to understand within. And that's what keeps you going, because then the creativity, may have spoke about this before because I highly believe this. The creativity is bringing you the healing that you need about doing too much. And of course, doing too much under someone else's reign. You see how Saturn is, you can feel how Saturn is trying to grasp the Piscean nature or grip, right? In a certain sense. But Pisces, you can't. You know, it's like, I'll have to think of a good metaphor, but it's like you can't grab it. You can't grab water, right? You have to let it show you where it needs help with at each time. Saturn's very regimented, so it's like this interesting time where it's like there's no space and time. So this is the time to build, because it's like with Uranus and Taurus as well, these changes in the Jupiter and Taurus, all of these changes can happen so fast. And that's what you're preparing for. And I want to remind you that I do feel like during these times, especially in eclipses, we're preparing for what's to come. So as much as this could feel of hurt, and like it's like you're seeing yourself in another form, therefore you're seeing certain things go, and you're realizing how in real time it's not just this dramatic change, it's actually just this slow moving process, but you're almost seeing in real time you become a different person along the way, or become more of yourself. You know, you reveal more of yourself. And all of a sudden you look behind and you see the old self, and it's like a ghost or a very small part. How you work your day to day is up to you. And it doesn't have to look like this. And that's what I think that's what I think Pisces teaches Saturn. So I feel like the planets are very fixed, right? But Pisces is like, I'm not Aquarius. Like, you can't just close the door on water. Or even air, really, and it's just time to give to what is going to overflow in your life. And what already kind of is, and you can get a sense of, and you already see it, so you start to move towards it, or it naturally starts to move towards you, and then you are able to feel, and therefore you want to continue to perhaps move that way. And if there is someone in your life who, if you have a Virgo in your life, they're working really hard right now, and they are at the point where it's time to take a break, especially in the mind, right? So if you, again, going back to that, you're working in your mind, but we have to remember that you still need rest. You still need a moment. I don't know what that was. And what does that look like, right? Maybe there's a Leo, coming back to this Leo, there's a Leo in your life that perhaps maybe brings you somewhere, takes you on a vacation, offers you a sense of relief, is working with you, helping you, or you show and give love in this way, and it helps, give you another sense of your own reality. You also may receive more because you're learning to give to yourself in another way. You're not telling that part of you that's maybe speaking up for your needs to hush. You're saying, okay, like, how can I help you now? Because you can't ignore that part of yourself. And we know that Virgo can, we know that you can, and then, what happens next. But when you're doing it from a more compassionate place, and you're maybe starting to honor this process of the child and your emotions and money and how it's connected to the child, the teenager within you, all existing in real time, that's Pisces, you know, that's the Pisces. And calming yourself down in a way that isn't so abrasive but gentle and kind, and having that reciprocation back to you. It takes a lot of strength, and this is taking a lot of strength, and unfortunately Saturn's still going to be there, so you got to find a way in which you can work with Saturn. You know, like wherever you're working right now, whether you're self-employed or employed or both, you need to find a way for work to work with you as much as you're working with other people. And we'll get into that especially more next month in Taurus season, because that's where everything gets so fast. All right, I love you.